I grew up in an environment that was full of violence, distractions, and I was just in survival mode for so long. That's all that I knew. I didn't have a blueprint for success or peace of mind, growth mindset, any of those types of things. Those things were never presented to me. I was forced to figure these things out alone, day by day, moment by moment, and just learn from experience. It was no way around it. And as I began to feel progress in my life, I began to feel like something was changing. As I think back on it, it all started with my habits, with the things that I began to change, the things I began to try and adapt into my life. These small choices that I made, they added up over time and they just compound. You hear me say things compound over time. You do the little things and they just add up to the bigger things. And that's what happened in my life. And I was able to rewrite my story. Not the story that was laid out for me based on where I came from, based on what everyone else had. I was able to write my own story, rewrite the history about what they were saying was going to happen to me. I was going to be a statistic. I'll be dead or in jail before I'm 18 or 20, 25. All these things that are talked about when you grow up in poverty, you grow up struggling. I was able to beat those statistics. And the way that I beat them was just my habits and just changing my mindset. And today, that's what I'm going to share. I'm going to share some of the 10 habits that made the most significant change in my life. And it doesn't matter if you're coming from poverty, if you're coming from a different mindset. These habits will work for anyone coming from any stage of life because these things cannot be taken away from you and they will have the most impact on your life. These habits help me rise from my lowest points, overcome depression, and they help me discover the clarity and the confidence to become a better man, a better mentor, and just a creator that wants to share with everyone else. These aren't just nice ideas, they're principles that I live by to this day. And I've seen them transform other people's lives, not just mine. Now let's go ahead and get into it. The first one is choose optimism. When you see more darkness than light, choosing optimism can feel naive, but it's actually more powerful than you think. Optimism isn't about ignoring problems. It's about believing that what's ahead is worth pushing through any pain that you're facing right now. That belief shifts how you show up. Because you're looking at the positive side, you understand that what you're going through right now doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define your future. The belief shifts how you show up for yourself. It fuels your consistency. It makes you magnetic to the right people. And it teaches you to see mistakes as stepping stones, not setbacks. And the second habit that helped me was I began to write daily. I'm not talking about writing my book. I'm not talking about you write certain stories or anything. It can be as simple as journaling. I just began to journal and get my thoughts out when I didn't know how to express myself. It gave me space to reflect, to dream, and to confront the truths that I usually bury. I usually put these things behind me. I usually began to run away from these thoughts. But now when I began to journal, I was forced to face these thoughts. I was forced to look at these thoughts and say, are these things true? Writing became my therapy before I even got into therapy myself. It helped me see life as a story that I had the power to edit. Whether you're dumping your thoughts or you're scripting your future, journaling builds awareness and discipline. The third habit that I picked up was I began to take care of my health. If you want a strong future, you need a strong foundation. And the best way you can do that is by focusing on your health in all aspects. If you're thinking about your mind, I want you to meditate because meditation taught me personally how to slow down and sit with my thoughts instead of running from them. How to sit there and pay attention to my thoughts. What things was I thinking the most? What did that say about me? What things were true and what things weren't true? And your body. I began to exercise. I began to love it. It just became a part of my lifestyle. If I don't work out, I feel incomplete. And exercise became my anchor. What you feed your body affects your energy, your clarity, and your ability to show up. So be mindful of the things you put into your body as far as foods, liquid. All the things that you put into your body will have a say-so on the longevity of your life and how you feel. And you want to think about your soul. Real relationships challenge you, keep you grounded, and give your life meaning. Build a circle that makes you better. Build a circle of people who's always going to push you, who's going to challenge you, who's going to hold you accountable. So these things are good for your soul. These things are good and it can't be taken away from you. And the fourth habit I picked up was I always paid it forward. Always made sure that I put good out into the world. And it felt good. When you do something good for someone else, it always feels good and it's going to come back to you. One act of kindness can shift your entire mood and someone else's. I've seen how doing something small for someone else not just put a smile on your face, but it becomes a ripple effect of things that come back to you. It may not come back to you right away, or it may not come back to you in the way that you think, but you will always get something in return for the things that you do that make you feel good and the things that you know are right. Serving others reminds you that you matter and so do they. So make sure you're doing things that are right, just because they're the right things to do, not because you expect something in return. The fifth habit that changed my life was I stopped comparing myself to others. I used to look around and wonder why I wasn't where others were, until I realized that they didn't walk my path. They didn't have to deal with the same struggles I had to deal with. They didn't have to overcome the traumas, the stories, the narratives that I had to overcome. They're living their life and my life is mine, and I cannot compare the two. Look at that person in the mirror and tell yourself, if you're growing, you winning. If you look in the mirror and see the same person that you saw last week, last month, then you need to reevaluate yourself. Always look for ways to grow and only focus on your story and your path. The sixth habit I picked up was I began to prioritize my growth. Comfort zones kill dreams. Every time I felt discomfort, it was life stretching me. It was life challenging me, saying that you want something more, but you're not the person you need to become yet. You haven't became that person that's going to attract that. So we're going to challenge you. And I began to accept these challenges and embrace them. I began to get happy for these challenges because I realized that every other challenge I faced in the past, I got over these things, and I also became better as I came out of these challenges. Growth requires effort, attention, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. Ask yourself daily, how can I grow today? The seventh habit I picked up was I constantly read. Books became my mentors, whether it's me listening to an audiobook, a podcast, or reading a book physically. When you read, you learn from the pain and wisdom of others. You shortcut the years of trial and error. So stay curious, stay humble, and become a student of life. It's never too late for you to learn something. You will always learn as you grow through life. The eighth habit I picked up, I began to give sincere appreciation. Talk about appreciation for life. I began to love life no matter where I was at. I began to show gratitude because I realized that gratitude was medicine. It doesn't fix everything, but it can change how you see everything though. When I'm in a low place, I shift my focus to what do I have? What do I have right now? And I break it down to the bare minimum. I'm above ground, all five senses are working. I have running water, I have clothes on my back. I have an ability to change my life right now based on the decisions that I make at this moment. I begin to break it down that way. And when I do that, suddenly my problems, they begin to shrink. The thing that was worrying me so much, don't worry me as much now. The things I was worried about become obsolete. And that's because of gratitude. So I want you to show gratitude in your life. What things are you grateful for? If you can't think of anything, you listening to this right now, you watching this right now, if you're on YouTube, be grateful for those small things because you have the internet. You have access to tools to help you become better. These are all small things that you should be grateful for that we overlook throughout life. The ninth habit that I picked up was that I reduced my wants. Don't get me wrong, I love my multi-million-dollar cars, my hyper cars, my those houses and everything. I still strive for those things, but I'm also grateful for the small things. The world always teaches us to chase more. But what I'm saying is that a lot of my happiness began to come from alignment. It became to come from fulfillment. And that came from less. It wasn't necessarily about the car that you're driving. It's not about what you're striving to get. It's about what you have at the moment. It comes from that alignment with feeling like you're being progressive. You're working towards something. And that's where I learned to reduce my wants in the moment while still striving for more. And when you stop chasing what doesn't belong to you, you make space for what does. The 10th habit that I picked up that changed my life was I began to ignore the non-essentials. I realized that focus is freedom. Every yes you say to distractions is a no to your purpose. Get clear on what matters and let the rest fall away. And the things that's supposed to be there will always be there. Always listen to your heart. Listen to your mind because it knows best for you. As we close out this episode, I want you to take things that work for you and discard the rest. These things are just what changed my life the most that I realized when I think about the habits that I picked up and what helped me get on the right trajectory to see my life begin to progress when I didn't have the answers. And I want you to know this. This episode isn't about perfection. It's about intention. You being intentional with your growth, you being intentional with your life, and you taking control of it. And remember that your life is 100% in your control. You decide how to spend your time and energy. I didn't come the man that I am today by accident. I had to unlearn survival mode and embrace the habits that helped me build a new identity. And these 10 habits are some of the ones that changed my life the most. And they can change yours too. If you apply them with patience and consistency, then you will begin to see the results. So whether you're just starting your journey or you've already been walking the path for a while, know this, that change is possible. It doesn't matter when you make the change. Change is always possible in your life. It's never too late. And that you're capable. You're fully capable of anything you put your mind to. But it takes you to do the work. It takes you to make the decision to change. As we cruise out of this episode, I want you to check out all the links down below. We got coaching, we got Instagram. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I'm big on that. I'm really encouraging you to focus on your mental health as well. I want you to think about what things do you need to address? What things have you been discarding? What truths have you faced within yourself? So take that time to focus on your mental health, because your mental health is very important. It's a big essential to your well-being and your overall growth as an individual. I'm someone who struggled with mental health in the past, and I learned to hold myself accountable, take control of it. And I want to encourage you to do the same. As we close out this episode, again, I want you to focus on your mental health, your personal growth, because all these things run hand in hand. Don't forget to check out all the links down below. Leave a rating and review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, and give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Go out there and continue to show up for yourself, because you deserve it. You hear that outro rolling in, you know what that means. Everybody is greatest within.